Okay, 1, 2, 3.
4.
In a world where writers, directors, producers, and actors are all fighting to get their films made, comes a podcast that gets into it like no other podcast has ever gotten into it before. So, this summer, hang on to your laptops, because this time, there's no rewrite. Starring Mark Ice Roberts, Rod Tuddy Rinks, and on the ones and twos, Justin Wings Nichols. Let's get into it. Rated R. Under 17. Not permitted without a parent.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Get Into It. Today we're going to get into it.
We are. We already kind of got into it a little bit before the show.
We've been into it for like an hour.
Yeah.
But what's really cool
is that I get to come back to my own show.
About today is that I get to welcome you back to your own show. Welcome back.
Thank
I know you had to
Thank
work.
you.
We explained to everybody that you actually have a real job.
And I got to actually split in like about 5 minutes.
You got to leave in 5 minutes.
Seriously.
I was thinking about how cool it is to get into conversations about how to get your movie made.
Yeah.
This podcast was put together by you.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about film.
It just started off, you and I talk about the same thing for over a decade. And I was like, you have a wealth of knowledge that somebody like me could use, or other people out there like me could use. And you weren't into it. You're like, nah. And then next thing you know, you're like a host now. You're like podcast
He's
host.
doing it without you.
I know. You told me today.
Well, look how exciting this is. We started the podcast. You started your 10,000 hour movie.
Yeah.
We had Joel High on. What's Joel High doing now? Joel High is now music supervisor on your movie.
Yep.
Clay Epstein,
yeah.
who is a film distributor at Film Mode.
Yeah.
He came in.
Yep.
He's giving you advice about your movie.
Yep.
I mean, these are all like mini meetings.
Yeah.
Right? You're having little meetings with people, and you're enrolling them and getting excited about what you're doing.
Met with Nahara on Monday. We're going to be doing some
You're
stuff
doing something
together.
with Nahara. He was on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to say, it's about realizing that you're having people here, we're meeting with them.
Yeah.
They're little meetings where you're discussing your movie and getting them excited about your movie. And out of this comes a relationship that may benefit you and your movie, and it may benefit them.
And we're all in the same boat. Like what I've noticed is we're all like, Joel was a filmmaker, Clay was a filmmaker, I'm a filmmaker, you're a filmmaker. You know, there's a creative force behind everything we're talking about, and we're all kind of like, you know, we branch off into different areas. I'm a makeup artist by trade. I got to go do Lopez's makeup in about 5 minutes.
Right.
He's gonna be breaking my balls any minute.
Right.
Where are you, Tony, on the phone?
I just want to say, if you're thinking about maybe I should or shouldn't, do it.
Yeah.
Have that conversation. Enroll someone. Get people excited about what you're doing, and they may turn around and, like in Tootie's case, end up working with you to make your little film better.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Hey,
it's happening here.
Yeah, it is. But actually, like
in real time.
But none of those guys said anything other. I had to show him something. Like Joel read the script and then he got back to me. He didn't say right away, I'll do that. You know what I mean? He said, well, let me read the script if it's something I'm
not saying it's just because of the podcast. I'm saying that it is a very good way to meet people.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing that you're a good pitcher because they're getting excited about what you're doing.
And I thank you for this,
Well, you're welcome. They believe that there's talent there, and they're ending up working with you. So I think something to be learned from this podcast.
I go back to Motley Crue. I told you this in the beginning. When we started this band, all we needed was a laugh. Years gone by, I say we kick some ass. Bam! There we go,
crazy,
Nichols.
man. You're crazy. Well,
That's the bridge of one of the songs.
That is. Is that what they call it? I don't even know.
Well,
is that a bridge?
Yeah.
All right.
The reviews are pouring in, too. A new one today. These guys are the real deal.
Oh, us?
5-star, yeah.
What?
That's just
what
right
happened?
now.
We got 5 stars, player.
The reviews are coming in on iTunes. Just people loving it.
Thanks, Dave.
Very exciting.
Appreciate that.
These guys are casual. They're casual, sometimes hilarious.
No, that's bullshit. That's always. Come on.
It
Come
can't
on.
be always hilarious. But Wings Nichols is here. Thanks for being here, buddy.
No problem.
Tootie's back. Welcome back.
gotta leave in a
Dave,
minute, though.
thanks for being here. I want to talk about extreme music.
Yes.
This is very exciting. We have co-founder, CEO of Extreme Music, Russell Emanuel.
Good.
Did I say that right?
You said it right.
Okay, good. Well,
Mark's wealth of knowledge to an empty wallet of knowledge.
well, I doubt empty wallet. I read the bio.
Yeah.
Apparently, you sold this company for quite a bit of dough.
I saw the Rolex. It's nice.
I'm curious. Did once you sold it and then it sold to Sony? Did it sell for lots of money to Sony?
question. Yes, it did.
Yeah, more than what it originally sold for?
Yes, allegedly.
Oh, allegedly, that's a good way to put it. What we're here to talk about today is I have really believed in music libraries for a long time as a producer. I've used them. I used them on Mexico's Next Top Model. The entire thing was from Extreme Music Library. I just did a documentary called Love and Betrayal. It's a true crime thing. Every song in there, even my title song, is from Extreme Music.
Wait, am I paying for this?
And the exciting thing is that they do lots of stuff. But before I get into all of the things that Extreme Music does, I want to get into Russell Emanuel's life, because you had a very interesting life. And honestly, you really are providing a service that's super valuable to television, film, and all sorts of media. And we're going to get into how even now you guys are composing with Hans Zimmer for huge shows and huge movies. Right. So tell me about how you got started.
Back a long time ago when dogs were still fish, I had this kind of dream to play guitar. And that was kind of frowned upon at British boarding schools. I left very early at 15, no real qualifications. Spent a short period of time in the military, and then was a sound engineer. Various studios in London, including Abbey Road. And
you were a sound engineer at Abbey
That's
Road?
amazing.
Who was going through there at the time?
Oh, I mean, the usual suspects. I mean, George Martin, all those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the 70s. I was 16 years old, so it was back in the 70s. So it was a great time.
Yeah, good time for music.
It was a great time for music. It was an amazing place to be. But unlike all of the other people starting around me at that time, I quickly realized that being locked away in a studio wasn't what I wanted to do.
Right. Which a lot of people is what they wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very good at it. I probably wasn't that great at it.
Right.
And I did it really to kind of support my love of playing guitar and wanting to be a musician.
Right. So when you left there, I know that you spent a long time as a band manager.
Yeah. I did everything, really. I was just hustling. I think, in all honesty, I was a proficient musician, not a great musician. Still play. But, it probably dawned on me very quickly that these kind of people playing around me were incredible.
Did you ever sit in with a band that you were on tour with?
Oh, yeah, and all the time. And I toured with some bands that I had absolutely no business being involved with as well.
Oh, yeah?
Because I was kind of, a friend of mine was a drummer and a fixer at the time, and I remember the Stylistics were coming through to do a Air Force base tour of the UK, and they needed a bass player. And crazily enough, he goes, "Hey, you can do this." I'm too Jewish to play with the Stylistics. But I do remember rehearsing really hard, practicing for a few weeks. And I thought, okay, I can just hold this down. And then they came in to rehearse. The band actually arrived from America, and they came in to rehearse. And the singers were all facing us for the first day of rehearsal. And I remember playing the first number as the big intro. And just as they were about to start singing, they did the spin. Oh. And they spun. And I just lost it. Completely lost it, laughing. And I couldn't hold it. But, I needed to take 5 to put it back together. And then, so that hadn't started very well. And then 10 minutes later, we're playing the song. And they start to go, and on drums. And they introduce the drummer. He does an incredible solo. And on keyboards. And he's, shredding this great solo. I go, oh, shit, it's coming. He's going to want me to do a bass solo.
And Russell Emanuel
on bass. I said, I'm only just about holding this song down.
Right. Did you solo?
I don't think solo is the word. Yeah.
Solo, so they couldn't hear you, right?
It was solo. Yeah. And I was fired. And that was,
And that was the end of your...
that was the end of my soul career.
Well, music is a big part of everyone's life, whether you listen to it or you play guitar or you inquire, we're all sort of connected to one way or the other. That's really cool that you spent some time mixing and being an engineer, and then you went on the road with some pretty cool bands.
Yeah.
And, one thing that I remember, we would rent facilities to edit our movies or our TV shows. and you'd go into those facilities and there was a wall of CDs. And you would go to that wall and it'd be like comedy CD or drama CD or action CD.
Right.
That's old school, Robert.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, but this is where it began,
Wow.
right? You would go there and I'd say, and I remember talking to the post house and saying, like, is it okay if I use this for my project? Sure, yeah, it's we've already bought it.
Right.
So in some cases it would work, in some cases it would not. It was very difficult because you had to find the tracks, you had to listen to all of them. And it was labor intensive because you had to grab the CD, pull out the CD, put the CD in, right? Then ingest the CD. Like all this stuff was not easy to do back then.
No.
Right?
And think about how it was when it was vinyl and quarter-inch tape.
Yeah.
I mean, that was nuts.
So did they do libraries like that on vinyl?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Well,
You
it
had
started
to,
in the
right?
70s, and before
Well,
that,
when did it start, this whole library of music thing?
reportedly in the 40s. I wasn't.
So you could-
A lot of people think I was around. But,
No,
but,
you're a young man. You're a young man. So in the 40s, you could buy an album and use those tracks
Well, it was-
for your show?
yeah, at the time it was in answer to people wanted to relicense hit just like they do now.
Right.
They wanted the hit of the day, and it was unaffordable. At that time, I think it was sheet music that you were renting and paying for the rights for.
And then you would go record that.
You'd go and record that. Exactly. There's still a publisher and a writer at the end of the day. Nothing's changed there.
Right.
My experience was when I was working in the mailroom of this library that was producing on vinyl. What would happen was we would send the vinyl out to all these post-production houses back in the UK. They would audition tracks, and then they would phone us and order that track once they'd selected it on quarter-inch tape because they needed it to transfer
Right.
it then onto mag or whatever they were doing.
What a pain.
It was, the whole process would take a week.
Right.
That was cinema. Like that was like
Yeah.
that's the art that like Scorsese and those guys talk about. Now you just go on your computer. It's so easy. I do it on my iPhone when I do little videos and
Try
stuff.
this, try
Yeah.
that, try this,
Yeah,
try
you,
that.
like the iPhone, you have the iMovie. Do
Yeah.
you know the little videos I do
Sure.
for I do like Instagram,
Sure.
me combing my hair, but it's so easy. You could
I
do
do
it
the
like
same
that.
thing.
And you put nice music on.
I
it.
do, but
Yeah.
it's so. I mean,
Yeah.
just plug and play.
So here's
You know what though, Roberts? I gotta go.
All right,
I'm
buddy.
being
Well,
beckoned.
listen, Dave, sit in. Would you?
I know, but
Yeah, get in
Davey,
here.
hop in there.
All right, we'll see you later. Take care, Mario. Now we can really get down to business.
Now,
Thank
we were
you.
just waiting to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're gonna talk about the good stuff.
We're gonna start over.
Yes.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Now we're gonna get into the really interesting part about it. So, the libraries.
We're going to make libraries really
Yeah,
interesting.
this is actually fascinating. Maybe just to me, but you had the library on vinyl. That was complicated. People had to pick them, then order them, then you had to deliver it a week later.
Right.
Then the CDs came out, which were, I don't know that they were considered top quality music.
Yeah.
I think they were just sort of something that you can use to temp your product in the 90s and early 2000s. It wasn't really like, this is quality. This is high level stuff.
No, because I think that library music had kind of suffered from this reputation of it's where composers go to die. Or alternatively, it's where composers that couldn't quite make it, went to have a career.
Right.
Thankfully, the industry has changed dramatically.
Yeah, it has changed.
And gosh, I don't want to sound arrogant at all about this, but we were very lucky with our timing. It sounds like some master plan, but we came in with a mission to create a production music library, had the same values as any commercial label,
And you did.
and used the real deal composers.
Yeah, and you did. Just to keep the timeline straight. So in the 90s, there was CDs. In the 2000s, there was still CD. It would come out every quarter. You could buy like the new whatever it was, right? Was it every quarter?
Right, it was different for us in the UK, but I know about this
about
model.
every
It was,
quarter, right?
subscription
And, yeah, they'd send you like your new drama tracks,
Right.
your new comedy tracks, and it even went as far as to be like your new slapstick comedy tracks, right? So it was always like a certain kind of music, and they were interesting, and you could use them, and they were fine, but they weren't high quality. When did you decide to get into the business of extreme music?
Well, it's late 96, early 97. Myself and my then partner, Dolph Taylor, who was the drummer in Stiff Little Fingers, who I was managing at the time.
Oh, nice.
We it was time. We needed a real job, essentially. Yeah. And because we'd kind of had a history with library music, a long detached history, but nevertheless, the checks had kept coming. Said, okay, well, let's go and look at that. And it wasn't some master plan. It was just the fact that we decided to do production music, and all our friends were really out there doing it.
Did you see an opportunity? Did you see a gap?
I don't know. Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
Like, remembering it now is such a blur. It was a lot of work and, crazy bootstrapping of a company. But I remember Dave Stewart did one of our first albums, produced that, and Chucho Machan from the Eurythmics, and, the guys behind Massive Attack.
So you started thinking bigger. You started thinking, let's do these tracks, but let's make them really great.
Well, it was just our world. We didn't know how to do it the other way around.
Right.
And it seemed obvious. Well, if you've got a composer who's just emulating styles, is one day doing jazz and the next day he's doing heavy metal, that can't be good. So, when we attack a style of music, we'll go to the guys that are really doing it.
Right.
And it so doesn't sound like rocket science when you talk about it now. But at the time, it was an industry born out of a few guys, a stable of composers that would get all of the work.
Right.
Therefore, it ended up sounded not authentic.
Well, we'll get into what an enormous business it is now, but let's continue here because I think
my ex-wife might be listening. Let's listen.
How you started this was very indie of you. You started small. It wasn't like you started with millions of dollars.
No.
Right? So you started with a small investment with someone who believed in you and what you were up to, and that the future of this was actually much brighter, because apparently you did not know that it was like going to turn into this big, huge thing.
No idea.
Yeah. Tell me about the beginnings.
Well, we were introduced to Mark Levinson back in the UK, and he was a VC / lover of music. He started a publishing company called Palan Music back then. It was a small company based in Camden Town in the old Stiff Records building.
Mm-hmm.
It was super cool, very grungy. Mm-hmm. If you like your heroin pure, you're in the right area. And I remember, and he owned some clothing brands, Kangol, and he had a big part of the success of Pokemon cards, and he was very diverse.
How far into extreme music were you at this point?
One day.
Well, okay, good. Okay,
one day.
One day you were conceiving like this. We want to do.
We want to do a library with this, with the real guys, and we've got a bunch of friends. And a friend of mine said, "You got to meet this guy. He's cool."
Right.
So he sent me up to his office, and I remember going up there, and he goes, "I tell him the 30-second pitch, which was literally all I had, which is what I just gave you."
Right.
And he said, "How much do you need?" And I go, "Oh, shit, I have no idea." And I went into his boardroom. He gave me, I think, an hour to kind of work it out.
Figure it out.
Phone my partner. I go, "Okay, what do we need? What do we need?" And I went, well, we need a phone, and we need a DAT machine and a cassette player, and can we get a computer? And let's slide a salary in there. And, oh, yes, can we get a salary? I'm not sure. And I remember going in and giving him the number, and I was like, oh, we're never going to get this. And I said, we're going to need about $100,000 for the first year.
And he couldn't write that check fast enough, like, I'm sure.
Can you start Monday? I think this was Friday. Can you start Monday?
So Mark became your partner.
He became a partner and was an amazing, amazing partner, super supportive.
Yeah.
He knew what he had. We were clearly naive.
Yeah.
Had apart from hustling on the road, zero business experience.
Right. But that's very indie, right? That's how you start businesses. You think, if you haven't raised millions of dollars, you're always thinking like, what's the smallest amount of money that would get me going here?
Yeah.
And obviously you guys were destined for big things with extreme music. But what was more fascinating is that, your partner, Mark, eventually had to invest more money.
Oh,
I think he knew that.
Oh, I think he knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because to grow, this was going to have to be an investment that continued to give.
Yeah. Right? And he was extreme. I mean, gosh, to luckily meet someone that believed in you 100%.
Yeah.
And, I don't think I would always go in and say, hey, I got this crazy idea. I need another 300,000.
Let's do it.
It was never a problem. And I don't think I ever wrote a business plan. I never wrote a proposal.
Right.
Nothing on paper.
People raise money. Business plans do not. So Mark, your partner, start creating incredibly cool tracks.
Right.
I mean, I have to go to now because the jump between what we're talking about and what extreme music is now is pretty amazing. And I'll say it because of, from where I sit. I go to Extreme Music, which is this really cool library online, and you get there and it's, your homepage has got like these featured composers. It's got new tracks, action tracks, Latino tracks, all kinds of cool, any kind of music. And when I got there, I was a little confused because I was like, how do I do this? And then there was a search. So I started to think, well, maybe if I punch in dance music, it'll, give me what I'm looking for. So I pushed in dance and like thousands of songs would show up.
Right.
Suggestions. And you can listen to them and you can grab them, put them in your list.
Yes.
Right, so that you can come back to them later, or you make your list of songs that you want your editor to work from, and you say, go to my list, and then he can just download them from there.
Right.
Now, that's not the end of it. This gets better, right? This is like an infomercial.
That's already convenient.
That's already convenient, right? Wow. You get in there, you decide what kind of music, Latin, action, drama. I remember there was this one scene where it was like people falling in love. It was the beginning of a romance. Uh-huh. Like they just met, and I was like, how am I going to do this? So I literally went to the search engine and punched in new romance.
Oh.
Hundreds of songs came up, right?
We're so deeply into that.
Yeah, so I started moving all my choices for the romantic songs so that the editor, when he was cutting that sequence, had a bunch of choices. I didn't choose the songs for him. I just chose the types of songs I liked, and then he went to my list and then decided what worked for the scene best.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. So then you do that, you pick from whatever style, whatever it is, and then it says, you want more strings? You want more drums?
Right.
Like whatever you feel like the scene needs or the music needs, you can add that to it, and then it gives you songs with those choices. Now, as if that wasn't enough, then you get into, like, let's say I pick a song and I'm watching it in a scene. I'm like, oh man, if it just wasn't as driving, because you have different choices. It gives you a vocal track version. It gives you a no vocal track version. It gives you a no strings version. It gives you a no drums version. But if you want more automation, if you decide you want it to sound a certain beat or be a certain length, which by the way is really important in our business to have it match the end of a sequence, right? To take the end and have it end a scene.
Right.
You could mix it, pick the length of the thing, punch it in, and it remixes it for you and puts it together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did I get any of that wrong?
Holy shit.
What an interface. That's great.
Did I get any of that wrong?
There is the end of our Abbott. No, look, it's, first of all, you picked up on something very important to me. On the other side of this, which is talking to our composers, I'm constantly saying, focus on the end of this song. It's the most important thing for editors. Will go to the end. How am I going to get out? How am I going to finish this? And they'll discount the song that they love if it's not great. So I'm glad that you picked that up. Look, innovation is so important for us. This world is moving at a crazy speed, and for us, we need to be plugged into our users, the people that are using the music and how they want to use it. So, maybe 5 years ago, we started to develop this kind of online tool where you can remix the tracks, you can change the arrangement, and you can manipulate and essentially customize a piece of music. And the reaction was crazy. We're super lucky. We've got people working within Extreme that just love the mission. And because of that, what comes out of it is this kind of innovative company that, I luckily get to be at the forefront and take all the glory, but there's some incredible minds behind it. Yeah. We're the only ones that do that. We're leaps ahead in that technology, and very proud of it.
Well, that's not an easy thing to do. If you decided to go mix your own song, create a link to it yourself, it would be impossible.
Because people who are putting the projects together already have enough on their hands.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like this makes it, so great.
But it's true. If a song doesn't have an end, I don't choose it.
Yeah.
Because how am I going to write an end.
Yeah, you can't resolve it. Absolutely.
No, I have to have it end properly so that then you can put it into your system, say I'd like it to be 98 seconds or whatever it's going to be, 60 seconds, whatever, and then it ends it properly. And then you could fuss around with it, which I like.
Yeah. And the challenge is doing that and still have it feel natural. Fundamentally, at the start of all these tracks is talent. And it's a big reason why we feature our talent, and I think it sets us apart. And, I like to think of ourselves as a label more than a production music library. But, when you're briefing these guys that aren't used to working to those rules.
Yeah.
Pop producers just, fade a track out, and the fade can last for 15 seconds, 30 seconds. That's not useful to us.
No. So many projects now have wall-to-wall music.
Yeah.
People are used to it. I remember a time when you, as a producer, they'd be like, wait, there's way too much music. And now you can literally start a project and end a project and never have a gap.
Right.
That wasn't something that can happen in the past.
Right.
But the other thing I really like about what you guys are doing is you're working with there's real composers that are working on very, very big projects, writing music on Extreme Music. That's right. For anybody, for any project, right?
We're very lucky.
Yeah. How did you do that?
We care very deeply about it. These talented people are trusting us with their copyrights, and it's important to us that we only bring other material into the catalog that is of a certain level.
Right.
And big names like, Hans, obviously, Hans Zimmer, Snoop Dogg, Rodney Jerkins, Sir George sadly passed away, but Sir George Martin. Yeah. God, the list goes on.
So if I'm a young producer doing a small project, I could literally go to Extreme Music and get Hans Zimmer's music on my.
You can, absolutely, yes.
And not for insane amounts of money, which it would cost me to hire someone like that.
That's right.
But I can license a track that works for me.
Yeah, and I think our model as well is non-exclusivity. So our goal is, yes, it's affordable, but from the composer side, that track, rather than being used on one project, will be used on hundreds of projects. Therefore, everyone's got to live, everyone's got to pay the rent, and again, that's something else which is important to us, that we share revenue with our composers. And I don't know if you know, a lot of companies don't. They buy out the composers,
right? And
that's it. For us, every dollar that comes in the door, we share with our talent, and it was important for us to do that,
right?
Without it sounding like a hippie commune, because it is a business,
right?
You can't continue to get existing talent to give you material, right, and them to, because they're our biggest A&R resource. They'll recommend it to their friends, and
right.
If no one's making any money, that quickly stops.
Yeah. Are you a worldwide company?
We are a worldwide company.
Like anywhere in the world, go online, you can get Extreme Music
anywhere
for your project.
In the world.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. We have, crikey, what is it now? 7, 8 international offices, and then the online service means you can license it.
Wow. Why didn't I know about this? I should have gotten into a different business.
You should have. You can still.
This is silly.
Yeah, I mean, you can clearly sell it. So
well, now you know. There you go.
Well, I can only sell it because I've used it numerous times. So let me ask you this: on the other side, let's say there's a young composer out there, 16-year-old kid who's in his garage with all of his equipment and can play every instrument. Could that kid compose music for Extreme?
Yes,
really,
absolutely.
Wow, I didn't expect that answer.
No, here's how.
If they're super talented.
If they're super talented and for a young composer coming out, he's really got to look at the gap in the catalog. He's got to look at what we do and then find out what we don't have. And that's where it becomes attractive. We don't need, another Hans Zimmer. Because, so much stuff comes in that's just a clone of Hans or Harry Gregson Williams or John Powell or, these big guys. Those guys are already doing it and doing it brilliantly.
Yeah.
But, occasionally we'll come across, someone will send some stuff in that's so crazy or weird or different or
and you'll be like, this
exciting.
Yeah.
And we love to be brave. I think that's something that we've always done, is we love to take risks.
Yeah.
And I think for any composer starting out, they should want to do that anyway. They should want to have that
create
sound.
A new sound.
Yeah, I mean,
Huge.
I know it sounds, I mean, gosh, how do you create a new sound? But what you can do is specialize in something and become spectacular at it.
Right.
So many people will contact us or call us and go, we'll say, well, what do you do? And they'll go, well, I can do anything.
Right. That's the problem.
Geez,
Yeah,
really?
strike one.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll
really,
do it all.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, but fortunately, we do get the occasional,
Super talented.
diamond in the rough,
Yeah.
super talented.
Yeah.
People have never ceased to amaze
Yeah.
what they can do.
Well, considering you're worldwide, I would imagine there's a lot of talent that wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity. So that's cool. About a couple of years ago, I went on the site to look for mariachi music.
Right.
And I think only 2 things came up.
Yes.
It was like 2 selections. I was like, what?
So all you music makers, that
Right.
Well,
wanna
exactly.
fill those gaps.
Yeah.
No,
Well, there wasn't a lot of Latin music in London.
Right.
And it was just not in our consciousness.
Right.
And then I landed here and I was like, whoa, there might be something in this Latin
Big.
stuff.
Yeah.
Huge. And we have a new label that we've recently started called El Dorado, which just specializes in that. And then everything from Latin pop, Latin hip hop
Right.
to traditional mariachi and stuff. And it's all authentic. We won't take anything.
This conversation gets more and more exciting because you and Hans have been composing for huge things.
Right.
For The Simpsons, Planet Earth 2,
A Blue Planet. We're working on I can't talk about it, but then another one at the moment.
Mars.
We did do the planets,
Yeah.
which is essentially Planet Earth for the solar
Right.
system, which did very well recently.
But The Simpsons, that's pretty amazing.
That's pretty amazing. It's that's a bit like handling the crown jewels, but yes.
You know what I was amazed at? That Hans Zimmer was at Coachella performing,
yeah.
and people loved it.
We're going
People
crazy,
love- yeah,
They
really?
were going crazy.
They were
He was playing
crying at the
everything.
Lion
Dark Knight,
King, yeah.
Inception. It was great.
But that's pretty cool. I mean, extreme music doing whatever it's doing, but then you have like this super exclusive.
Well, we started a company about 5 years ago called Bleeding Fingers, and unlike Extreme, it's a custom scoring.
So if I go to Bleeding Fingers, then you guys sit down with me and we discuss and we show you picture and then you score to picture.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. We have a team of very young, exciting new talent that comes through there. What was happening was, I don't know if you know that Hans has a facility with a bunch of studios in Santa Monica.
No, I didn't know that.
He has 4 buildings, now 5 because Bleeding Fingers has a building. There's, I think, approximately 50 studios in all on the campus.
Wow.
That's where Extreme's based as well. And all this great new young talent was coming through and starting their careers as assistants, working for these composers. And then there was nowhere for them to go, so they were leaving. So we wanted to create a vehicle to kind of, harness that talent, accelerate it into the industry, provide support. And it's doing incredibly well.
So now you guys are training them and taking the best of the best and turning them into composers.
Yeah, well, it's a unique situation where we can spot great talent coming through as these assistants because they're all kind of co-writing, or we take them on because they're potential new talent, and you can see the great ones, and now we've got this great vehicle that they can kind of graduate into, and we're providing amazing projects for them to work on.
And it's obviously working because to get shows at the level that you're getting shows, have you been nominated for anything yet?
We've got an Emmy nomination this year for Cats.
What?
For Big Cats, which we did.
This gets, and
we have
That's
2 Emmy
huge.
nominations previously, and we've had a couple of Music and Sound Awards, and
so that's how much the world has changed. That's how much our industry is constantly growing. There are filmmakers out there. There's TV producers out there that don't necessarily know about extreme music. They don't know about these libraries that you can go to find music online. Or, like me, I wasn't that interested because I didn't think it was that much quality. I always wanted to use, someone who actually wrote the music. But you know what? You don't always have the time for that. And the quality of the stuff that's being produced by Extreme Music, by these other great composers that are coming to Extreme Music that you have partnerships with, is at the level of Emmy Award winning and nominated music. So,
That's right.
You can't. You're not going to beat that. That's pretty cool. I hate to sound like a commercial because this is not a commercial, by the way.
No, but you used it and you've seen how
I used it
easy
many
use.
times. My
And how
wife
good.
has used it many times. My wife's the executive producer of Disney Weddings.
There you go. Joel High.
Wait, Joel
That guy.
High? Does Joel High
That guy.
recommend you? I don't know that he does recommend you guys.
Oh, really? Yeah, he was amazing. As I was listening to the podcast, he was.
I'm going to
very
say he
proactive.
does not recommend
If
you
he
guys.
does, I'm going to have to phone.
You may need a
I
check.
have pictures.
Let's call him right now.
I'm just kidding. He was very complimentary of you guys, but I think
He's amazing.
the amount of product being produced every year, the amount of streaming services, and the availability of networks is huge, and that just means that more music is necessary, more cues are necessary, more composers are
Can you just say
necessary.
that again?
Yeah. So I don't think you guys are going anywhere soon. You just keep growing. It's fun that Sony is involved. Does that mean
Yeah.
that you get? Do you get any of their library? Did they add anything to Extreme Music when they bought you?
We do have access to some of the game scores that they do for PlayStation.
Oh, cool.
And we've been able to help out in that area and bringing those into the licensing. But no, pretty much. I mean, they've been a great partner. 2008 was when we were acquired by Sony, and they've been nothing but
Lucky you.
amazing.
You get acquired during the crash. How lucky is that, right? Holy mackerel.
I know we're
You're
very lucky, and they were great. Yeah,
I got to rub you for luck.
Yeah, I rubbed me for luck.
Yeah,
occasionally.
right. Shoot. Well, one of the last things I want to ask you is, considering you're growing so much, my wheels are turning. What if there was a television show, kind of like American Idol, where these new composers are writing music for Extreme Music? I don't know. There's got to be a show in there somewhere.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously, we do it every day, so we take it for granted. I mean, maybe, who knows?
Yeah,
Stranger things have happened.
yeah. Or
You could have like 3 guys score the same like clip. And
Yeah.
see who's better or something.
Yeah.
Now you're talking. That
We ran a contest with SoundCloud at the start of Bleeding Fingers. Hans wrote a theme, and the SoundCloud community were invited to kind of reimagine it and remix it and recompose it. And it was great. We found
good
some
idea.
incredible talent. And the guy that actually won that contest is now one of our composers.
really.
Yeah.
So, can composers on Extreme Music make a great living? Can they buy houses?
Oh, yeah. I have to be careful here. But no, absolutely. There are people in the space. I mean, I think you saw there's a Forbes article that says there's a $2 billion business.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
So then you get in there and you become someone that fills these gaps, and people start. I mean, as a producer, I do favor certain libraries
Right,
on
of
Extreme
course.
Music, but there's so much that I don't look at. Like there's punk rock. There's a big punk rock sort of contingent on Extreme Music.
Yes.
There's a big like grunge sort of contingent, which
Yeah.
is cool. And I think that's for the skateboarding shows and
Yeah, and there's
surfing
everything.
shows. There's everything.
There's no music we won't go near.
Yeah. Are you planning on having? Are you going to come back and do music and have your own band someday, or is that over?
It's very interesting that you say that. I mean, I still compose. Obviously, I don't get much time to do it now, but I do still compose for Extreme, and the same rules apply. And it's great. I still don't have to have a hit record, and I don't have to sleep in the back of the bus, which is the
struggle.
luxury of it,
Yeah.
really. We do have a house band, which I'll send you an invite to our next show called Courtesy Flush.
Do you play? Wait a minute. Do you play in this house band?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that was that was the question. Okay, good. So you are still playing music for yourself.
I will invite you to the Halloween party.
That's
You'll get
exciting.
A full eyeful of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you may need. I don't think you can unsee it.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I know Joel had some questions. Maybe we'll have you back on one day. We can talk more.
Love to.
With a music supervisor who knows what he's talking about. But is there anything we didn't cover that you want us to know about Extreme
No,
Music?
I think you're. This is quite the operation.
Yeah,
I don't
thank
know. I'm
you.
going to take all of this, and this is going to be my new ad. I'm going to find everyone that works in the marketing department can go home now.
That's that's right. Just cut this one up
Yeah.
and turn it into your next year's campaign.
That's amazing.
When I had Joel on the show and we talked about it, it was organic. It just sort of came out that we talked about Extreme Music, and then I thought, why don't I send this podcast to Extreme Music and see what they think.
Yeah.
And I literally went to your site and went down to information, contact, and just sent it to anybody. And the great thing is someone immediately got back to me and goes like, hey, thanks for sending the podcast. We'll send it over to somebody. We'll get back to you. They got back to me. You know what? We love the podcast. Russell would love to be on. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
That was very cool of you
I'm
guys.
subscribing. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of podcasts anyway.
Yeah,
And this,
so you say,
this
yeah.
is right in the zone.
Well, look, we're big fans of extreme music. I wish you a ton of continued success. I think there's a lot of value in what you're doing, and I think now it's just super obvious. I know it wasn't when you started, but now where we're headed, the amount of content that the world needs, all that content needs music.
It all needs a soundtrack.
It all needs a soundtrack. So, continued success. I know that you're going to do extremely well in your life. Hopefully you can kick down to some of us indies down.
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
But will you come back and talk to us
I would
in the
love to
future
come back, yeah.
as things grow?
Yeah, if you get desperate, just call me.
Yeah, well, we'd love to have you back. I know Tootie would like to talk to you and add you to whatever he's doing.
Yeah,
Of course.
great.
Well, thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Let's Get Into It.
Thank you.